Hello vinyl community, this is Mike with TCAT's Deep Vinyl Tracks, and it's time to do another thrift store and vinyl finds video. This is for the month of September, or the last part of September at least, and I want to show you some of the CDs and records that I found over the past couple of weeks. So we're going to start off with CDs. This first one is from Joan Armatrading, I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name. I don't know a whole lot about her, but I've been interested in finding out a little bit more. I do know she started out as a folk singer who ventured more towards the pop realm, and I believe this is one of her more poppier albums. I haven't heard it yet, but this is Square the Circle. And each of these CDs I got for $1.99 each. And I also got this one from her, Hearts and Flowers. So, wanted to give her a chance, see what it sounds like, see what her music is like. And also one from another artist I've been interested in for quite a while, but I haven't really looked into very much. And thanks to Brian at Embryonic Robot, he inspired me to pick this one up by Laurie Anderson. She's more of an art pop, experimental artist, and her albums before this one, which is called Strange Angels, were devoted a lot to non-sung music, and I don't know if it's spoken word or what, but this one was her first where it was all devoted all towards music, so interested in giving this one a listen. Big fan of the Blasters, so I found this, the Blasters collection. This one has got a lot of tracks on it. Of course, the ones you'd expect to be on there, and a few others. Love their music. I'm trying to pick up as many CDs of the Beatles that I can. I found this Revolver on CD. No, I don't think there's anything special about it other than it's the Revolver album. Robert Ballou from Block's Sonic Wafers shows a lot of comps, and they're comps that I'm always interested in, like the Lost Highway comps. I love those. I've had a few of them. And the Alligator comps, and this one is one of the Alligator comps, the 20th anniversary collection. And this looks like a really good collection. All blues artists. Comes with this nice booklet. Mostly just information, a few pictures inside. And it's a double album. So you got 2 CDs full of Alligator blues from the Alligator label. Great stuff on here. You got Stevie Ray Vaughan, you got James Cotton, Albert Collins, Coco Taylor, Professor Longhair, just loaded with artists. Charlie Musselwhite, Sonny Terry, Sun Seals, the Paladins, Delbert McClinton, they're all here, so should be a great listen there. The CD is called the Bridge School Concerts. The Bridge School Concerts are an annual concert that's put on by Neil Young, and he gets all these different artists together to benefit this school. A lot of great artists on this particular album. course, you got Neil Young, Tom Petty doing Shadow of a Doubt, Tracy Chapman, the Pretenders with the Duke String Quartet doing Sense of Purpose. You got Beck, Bonnie Raitt, Don Henley, Ministry, Simon and Garfunkel, David Bowie, Pearl Jam, The Lovemongers, Nils Lofgren, Elvis Costello, and Patti Smith. All on this one. I think this just pretty much collects different performances throughout the years from different artists that have performed in this. Next, I got the Best of Warren Zevon. Of course, again, it's got all the tracks that you expect to be on a Best of collection. Thought this would be a fun one to have on CD. Werewolves of London, of course, starts it off. Excitable Boy, The Envoy, Muhammad's Radio, Lawyers, Guns and Money, Poor, Poor, Pitiful Me, and a pretty good compilation there. So, and on the CDs, last of all, I've got this Pearl Jam concert. It's a 2-disc set, October 22nd, 2003, and it's at Benaroya Hall. Now, this is an all-acoustic concert. Opens up like that, and the 2 CDs are tucked inside the sleeve there. And there's the set list if you can see it. Okay, so that's the CDs. Next, I'm going to show you some of the vinyl that I've got over the last couple of weeks. I've always liked music that comes on the Impulse label, and I found this one. I've never heard of the artist before. He's a jazz pianist. His name is Henry Butler, and this is his album, The Village. Now, Henry Butler is blind. He's been blind since his youth, and plays the piano. He also plays a lot of other instruments, but on this one, he does all piano, and he's accompanied by a lot of other jazz musicians. Now, he doesn't take the limelight all the time, which is great. I mean, there's plenty of great piano playing by him in this album, but he also gives the other artists a lot of time to improvise and play on this too. You got Ron Carter on bass, Jack DeJohnette on drums, Alan Baptiste on clarinet, John Purcell on oboe, English horn, soprano saxophone, and flute, and Bob Stewart on the tuba for the last track, which happens to be his rendition of The Entertainer. Other than that, these are all, I believe, written by Henry Butler. The Entertainer, of course, is the Scott Joplin rag that everybody knows. But main reason I got this, well, for one thing, it was only a couple of dollars, but the fact that it was on Impulse sold me. It's a little different Impulse label, MCA Impulse. Interesting thing about this one too is you notice the 1 on this side and the 2 on this side. That's side 1 and 2. On the second disc, side 3 and side 4 is supposed to have a 3 and a 4 on it, but it says side 3 on the actual record, and it is side 3, but this is another 1, and it says number 2 on the other side. So I don't know. I couldn't find any indication of that when I looked it up on Discogs, but I valued it to what I figured was the correct value for this particular copy. But great album. I've listened to this through, really love it. Impulse, to me, I've never been disappointed by any of their artists, so great. I lived over in Italy for a few years, and while I was there, they were releasing this series called The Grande Storia del Rock. And you've probably seen these around. Um, According to this first set that they ran out, 100 different artists, different albums that feature artists that have to do with the history of rock. And so I pick these up when I see them. And this one's number 100, the harp tones, the impressions, the Cadillacs, and the passions. Now, these are some great doo-wop bands. There's the list of songs. For the harp tones, there are 7 tracks. For the impressions, there's only 2. For the Cadillacs, there's 2. And for the passions, there's 3. And there's your songs that are on this one. On the back cover, you can see a list of all the different artists they had. Now, these are pretty decent recordings. A lot of fun to have, especially since they were coming out at the same time I was there. And you'd see these sold out at the magazine stands. So they were kind of sold like a magazine, but they're definitely records, recordings. There's the inside. They always have a nice write-up about the bands they're featuring. And it's one of these, the bad part is the record comes out from the inside. And this is what the label looks like. And you can see one side is all the harp tones, while the other side is the other 3 bands. Now, it's not all doo-wop. There's a lot of different, this record is, but there's a lot of different records out there. I mean, Jimi Hendrix is featured on a couple of them. The Everly Brothers, you got Fats Domino, Elton John, Sam Cooke. I mean, lots of great artists, David Bowie. But there's a lot of strange things in here, and it makes you wonder why they put them in there. I mean, you even got Lightning Hopkins on here, but why in the world would you have Billy Vera, John Travolta? I mean, there's Paul Anka. Interesting. For the most part, they're pretty good collections. So I guess at the time, yeah, John Travolta, this was back in the early 80s. Of course, John Travolta was kind of making was making some hits at the time, or a little bit before that, so I guess they felt it was important to add him in there. Anyway, it's a good collection. There's a few there that you probably wouldn't want to look for. Moving on. These, by the way, these records were all $2 each, and I got them at the thrift store. Also got the Wings Greatest. And this one has all the ones you'd expect on there. Another Day, Silly Love Songs, Live and Let Die, Junior's Farm, With a Little Luck, Band on the Run, Uncle Albert and Admiral Halsey, Hi Hi Hi, Let 'Em In, My Love, Jet, and Mulligan Tire. I've already got a lot of those songs already on the appropriate albums they come on, but I thought it'd be nice to have this compilation too. So, and it's in really good shape. $2. Pure Prairie League, Dance. I'm not sure where this album falls in their discography, but I don't have anything by them. $2, I'm going to pick it up. There's the back. And it's on kind of the tan RCA Victor label. Good shape. They're all in great shape. These next couple I got for $5 each. Stars, their debut album. I've never had anything by them. am somewhat familiar with their music, so excited to hear this. Kind of a hard rock. Hey, Gary, you know you love that one. You gotta love that inner sleeve. And it's on the Capitol label. Really good. You can see how clean the record is. These have been cleaned really nice. Shout out to Mike the Vinyl Policeman. Got the Kinks. Give the people what they want. Haven't owned this one by the Kinks before, so this will be good to add to my collection. Fills a nice hole in my ever-growing Kinks collection. Again, this one was $5. It's just on the regular Arista label. Again, nice and clean. Now, I know there's a lot of flack about the band Chicago. I love Chicago's early music. Love the addition of all the brass and everything. Back when they did stuff that was not as commercial. And so there are certain albums from them that I need to have in my collection, and the best ones, of course, is the first one, Chicago Transit Authority, number 2 and number 3. Then we skip up to number 7, number 8, number 10, and I don't know, maybe even Hot Streets, more or less. There's some good tracks on there. But one of the most underrated Chicago albums is their 8th album. This one is number 8. Same thing on the front and the back. What makes this one so great? I don't know. It's one that I've always loved. It's got the Jimi Hendrix tribute on it, which is, Thank You Great Spirit, I think is what it's called. Just amazing guitar work on that. It's also got, this one does center quite a bit on the guitar, which is what makes it nice. But there's still plenty of brass in there too. There's a couple of weaker tracks, but for the most part, it's one of those that I've always loved, and I was glad to get this for $5. Can't beat that. Now we go into a couple more that were a little bit more money. First of all, we got Louis Armstrong's Hello, Dolly. This is on the Cap label. Was excited to see this nice clean copy of it. Of course, there's a little crease in the cover, but that's not so bad. Little discoloration on the back, but for the most part, it's in really great shape. And comes on the beautiful Cap label. Nice and clean. Sounds really great too. Hello, Dolly by Louis Armstrong. And there's the tracks. And last of all, got this amazing copy of an older Neil Young album, Hawks and Doves. And this is a mint copy because it's sealed. Flat, completely flat. Beautiful shape. So I will be opening this, by the way, but it's nice to have a nice clean copy for my Neil Young collection. I hadn't had this one yet. I did have it before. I had it. Had to get rid of it a couple of years ago with most of my Neil Young collection, so I'm slowly building it back. So this is a good one to have back in the collection. Alright, that will do it for this Vinyl Finds video. Thank you for watching. Over the next couple of days, you'll see me adding a couple more videos. I'm going to do another deep track video. A couple of artists with albums that you've heard of the artists, but you may not have heard these albums. So I'm going to do that again. And I'm also going to do a continuing series on the band King Crimson, adding in needle drops. So if you're not really familiar with their music, you'll be able to hear little bits and pieces. Probably go into a bit of detail on those videos about lineup changes and things like that. So hopefully that's something you'll find interesting, because it will probably span over 6 or 7 episodes, I would think. So thank you for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed this, and we will talk to you all later.